Hi guys, welcome to me. You're welcome. Hi guys, my name is Eleni and every Tuesday I teach you something that's super important or whatever that you probably didn't even know. And I don't mind doing that because I know a whole bunch of stuff that I think that you should know too. Here's an important lesson: how to calm your tits. Why is this an important one? If you don't know, your tits may not be calm. I'm not like talking about your physical boobies, of course, but like the metaphorical ones, or like the boobies in your brain. The boobies that cause stress boobies. Stress pimples. Stress wrinkles. Stress eating. Those boobies. Like, you know how sometimes you're like at school or at work and then things get like super hard? Or like people are all like, why aren't you doing this when you should be doing this? And you're like, hey, I'm trying. What is your problem? There's nothing wrong with asking what people's problems are because maybe they have problems. And that makes you a good person if you care about their problems. Or as we mentioned before, they're stress boobies. Maybe they have a problem and then they're all stressed out and then they're all like all on your face. And you're like, I didn't do it. And maybe you didn't do it, but maybe you need to understand. Or maybe they're just being a jerk. There's a lot of reasons the person could be like that. This person has a really hard day. It didn't have anything to do with you, but they came off rude. Now your first reaction may be like, listen buddy, you need to calm your tits because I am not having that. But maybe that's not the appropriate reaction. So before you say it, think. Hard, but not too hard. You don't want to create wrinkles. Take a breath. Let out your own stress boobies and say, okay, let's look at this. I'm sure I can help you. If you're like a super smart, attractive person like I am, you bring joy to people. But sometimes even people like me may cause stress. Not intentionally, of course. Maybe you can't handle that I'm super smart and pretty. That's like your problem, but I get it. I mean, I don't get it, but I like get that that's a thing that happens. And we all have stress boobies. Mine may be bigger than yours. It's not a competition. First thing you need to do is calm your own tits. And life is hard. Maybe you work too much. Maybe you couldn't get out. Maybe it's too hot and your building hasn't turned on their air conditioning like they're supposed to turn on their air conditioning, like they're legally obligated to turn on the air conditioning, and then you call them and you're like, hey, why isn't the air conditioning on? And they're like, oh hey, it broke. And you're like, oh hey, post something or whatever. I am trying to film in my room and it is super warm and I have to close the windows so that there's no other sound. Or something like that. See what just happened? I created a stress boobie. But you know what I do? And this is something you can do. You can just sit there and think to yourself, hey now, am I hurting someone else? Maybe. Am I hurting me? Maybe. And do I want to hurt them or me? Maybe not. So you take a breath and you think to yourself, stop. Stop. Okay, you know what? Stop. Calm your tits. Life is full of like super hard things or whatever, but it's also full of super great things and whatever. And when you create a stress boobie, you're doing harm to you. And if you do harm to you, then you may harm other people to enlarge that stress boobie. So you say to yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? You know what? It's not worth it. It's not. You'll be so much happier if you realize, hey, calm your tits. And listen, as always, if this video is like too complicated or whatever, you were like mesmerized by me or whatever, just watch it again and take notes or whatever. And hey, and if you like this video, you could like this video and you can like leave a comment for this video. And if you super duper wanted to, you could subscribe. No, really, as always, and again, and forever, you are welcome. Calm your tits. No, seriously, like a couple months ago, I had this stress boobie that was so huge, it went all the way up into my head, and it was like trying to break out. And I'm like, what is this? I didn't even know. I was like, oh my goodness, calm your tits. And then I thought, oh my God, a stress boobie.